when we were doing this,
Man, there's some ugly faces.
he said he was sending the audio up, so.
Okay. Yes, Tommy.
Are you,
Hello. Frank, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I can hear y'all.
you may, trying to get this word.
Evening, Frank.
How you doing, Tommy? You see me?
Yeah, man, I got you. You look good.
Yeah, right. How you feel?
Oh, pretty good.
Pretty good. All things considered, right?
Yep.
We're gonna knock this thing out.
Let's do it.
Yes, indeed. I tell you. And I tell you what, you need
Hit
to.
that button right here.
Oh,
Everybody.
That's not good.
That's Taylor.
Taylor.
Can you see Taylor?
You may have.
I could, I can't. Yeah, I can see him on a small frame now.
Okay.
All right. Am I causing an echo or anything?
Just a little bit.
All right, I'm gonna try to get a little further away.
I'll get you.
How about now?
Better.
Okay. I'm gonna sit in here. I think so. If I can find a, yeah, I can. Let's see.
Computer goes. What's the word here? Maybe computer messes up. I figured. I'm just.
How you doing, Roger?
Fine, how are you, Frank?
I think I'm gonna be all right.
Everything's right with Sean. He may be gonna stay off, just keep his camera off.
Who's that, Sean?
Yeah, he probably gonna stay. David will too. He's gonna just stay D-Dug the whole time.
You want me to cut mine off?
No, we wanna see your face.
Okay, go for it.
You got it.
I got it. Yeah, I got it.
All right, y'all think y'all good?
I'm gonna follow it to a T, right?
We're gonna try, if we can get that Davis well thing, that'd be great. If you can see about that. I'll be way back in the back.
Good luck. I will run.
It's not gonna be bad.
Yes.
You sure what we're doing is legal?
From what I understand, from a legal standpoint, we don't have to worry about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if it's not legal, Roger,
Well, you do have to.
legal is not our fault.
Okay,
I know, I just hate to vote on something and have it.
okay,
These all from the light switches up there.
okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you.
Hey, nice background.
Thank you.
Yeah, how about that?
We gotta lighten the mood some. Hey, I have one question before we start. So we're not gonna go by the normal monthly agenda, we're going by the modified agenda that we received today?
That's correct.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. That's,
So it's basically gonna be a minimalized meeting.
minimal, essential, only the essentials.
Right, okay, okay.
Yeah, you're exactly right. You guys keep me on track now because, I'm the guy that's supposed to be keeping you guys right.
Well, you're on here, so you got something right.
So what now?
You're on here, so that's a good start.
That's a good start, you know, I tell you
Just
right
sit
now.
back and act natural, Frank.
Yeah. Hey,
you go.
knowing that, Roger, my thing is that knowing that there are other folk looking at me, so, you know,
Yeah.
let's say we're gonna try to do what we have to do and get the flock out of Dodge.
Here we go.
But let me get my 658.
Yeah, who are we missing? Joseph?
Sean.
Joseph.
No.
You got all the board members that said they were coming are here.
Okay, so we have everybody but Joseph.
Yeah, he's not gonna participate.
I see Carla's on now.
Hey, Carla. I can't hear you.
Hey, now I'm muted. Can you see me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, cool.
I can.
Oh, a lot of lightning back down there, Carl.
I know. Not a lot of spots to do it.
There you go, that's better.
There you go. That's better.
I see you have that fast internet out there in Chula Road.
That's right. Sure do.
I'm really impressed by all this technology, like, all the media outlets always have delay. This thing is pretty quick.
Yeah, Sean,
Plus,
you know. All right.
Evening.
Hmm?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff. All right.
Nice backdrop, Sean.
Thank you.
How'd you manage to do that?
Well, actually, it's the fact that I've been lazy and hadn't put my flagpole up in my yard yet, so I have a new flag laying around.
Perfect.
So it's actually fairly simple.
That's all right. That's all right.
So we need Lori Harper. Dr. Harper, there she is, she's here.
She's here.
Yep,
I'm here. I'm just muted and off the video until you need me.
there you go.
Okay, there you go.
Sneaky. She's just listening to us.
Okay, what about the YouTube feed?
All right, my goal is to follow along in this electronic board book, so if I look lost and confused, that's why I'm not looking at anything other than my iPad, so just to let y'all know.
I'm not even gonna look at it.
Trying to cut back paper usage.
He put a message up about a minute ago, said just let me know when you were ready to start.
I guess we're ready.
Okay.
You
John,
gotta get the feed going. Taylor,
Yes, sir.
is the YouTube feed gonna be live?
It's supposed to be, was about 10 seconds delay.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm not
not
seeing
in,
anything yet.
I'm not in the courthouse. Sean and Jerry Wayne are over there.
Okay,
But when I left, it was a 10-second delay.
okay, there it is. I see it. Yeah, okay.
All right, Mr. Harris, I think we're ready anytime you are.
All right, I want to go ahead and call the order this April board meeting of the regular meeting of the Amelia County Board of Supervisors, declare the fact that we do a quorum. First of all, item on the agenda is that of the approval of the amended agenda. Any amendments to be made to the board agenda? I think we need to get the Davis well on there, on that. Is that correct, Mr. Harvey?
That would be good if it rises to the level of urgent, which we've gotten the papers back from council, so we're just waiting on one minor thing and then we'll be ready to execute.
Okay, so and that will take care of it tonight, in other words.
Yes, sir.
Okay, gotcha. And I entertain a motion to approve the agenda with the amended item. Got a motion for discussion on the motion. Not all those in favor, let it be known by the sign of aye. Aye. Those opposed? Ayes have it, the motion is carried. First item on the agenda, we need to approve the emergency decrees. One would be the ratification of the declaration of local emergency COVID-19, that resolution which came out from the state office. I need a motion to approve that. I need a motion to approve the ratification of that declaration.
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Got a motion to approve. Further discussion on the motion. Not all those in favor, let it be known by the usual sign of aye.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
maybe we should have roll call vote since you can't tell who's saying what. We don't know who's voting and who's not.
All right, I can do that. I can do that.
So District 1, 2,
All right, I need the ratification, the vote on the ratification of the declaration of the local emergency COVID-19 resolution. All in favor, let it know by saying aye. District 1.
Aye, District 1.
District 2.
aye.
District 3. And District 5 votes aye. That motion is carried. I need a motion, therefore, we have also to approve the Amelia County continuity of government audit. That information was also provided to you. Questions or comments about that?
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Got a motion to approve. Further discussion on the motion? If not, District 1?
Aye.
District 2?
Aye.
District 3?
Aye.
District 4? I'm sorry, District 4 is not here. District 5 votes aye. So that motion is carried. We'll now have a discussion, or rather a presentation of the current county operations. I believe that's coming from Kent Emerson.
That's correct.
All right. Kent, on with us?
Yes, sir.
All right, Kent.
Can you all see the slides?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just wanted to give a quick presentation overview of what's going on both at the state and the county level for the past month. This is showing you our public knowledge, so I'm sure many of you are already following that. Total as of right now, the state is at 6,500 cases with a little over 1,000 hospitalizations related to that, and unfortunately 195 deaths as of today.
Okay.
You can see from the chart that's up now, particularly the one on the left, indicates when the illnesses began, and the significance from this particular chart is the fact that the first few weeks during the initial phases that was climbing pretty drastically. The past 2 weeks, while it has continued to climb, it has not climbed at the same level that it was before. So the whole idea that you hear people talking about flattening the curve, this social distancing that we are doing is working for that.
Okay.
As of right now, according to the Department of Health and the way that they keep up with outbreaks in congruent settings, there's been 108 outbreaks within the state. In our particular area, Piedmont Health District, we've only had 2 defined outbreaks according to the Department of Health, and they are both related to, one's related to a long-term care facility and the other one is a correctional facility. No outbreak associated with Amelia County. In Virginia, the number of hospitalized people right now with either a positive diagnosis or pending test results is just under 1,300. Of that 1,300, just over 800 are confirmed positive, with just under 500 that are awaiting test results right now. Of that 1,300, just under 400 are in the ICU. And of that 1,300, 234 are on ventilators right now. The other figure that you see on there, 752, are the number of people that have been discharged from the hospital after recovering from the virus. Virginia hospitals have over 2,800 ventilators with just under 700 currently in use, which gives us a usage rate of about 24%, which is pretty good. Bed availability right now, just over 5,600 hospital beds, and there are 6 hospitals that are experiencing difficulty or think they will be experiencing difficulty within the next 72 hours with getting personal protective equipment for their staff, and 1 other hospital that is anticipating problems with other supplies as well. So those are pretty significant numbers as far as the idea of flattening the curve. We still in Virginia have a pretty good capacity to expand if needed. Here in the Commonwealth, there are currently 135 local jurisdictions with emergency declarations, just like Amelia County, and that is virtually all the jurisdictions in the state, and there are 55 local emergency operations centers open across the state right now. These figures came from the Piedmont Health District. They differ a little bit from what you see on the website right now. Amelia County is at 11 cases. That is about average for the district. You can see there are a couple of places that have more than us and a few localities less than us. But right now, 11 cases in Amelia County that we're aware of. And then we'll just look at the timeline of how things have progressed over the past month or so. The 28th of January is the date that we initially started sharing COVID-19 information with our local emergency services. On March 7th, that was the first case in Virginia. March 10th was the first test of an individual within our health district, and that was actually in Prince Edward County. By March the 11th, the county had pretty much transitioned to a response to this event. On March 12th, we shared information with all the county employees about what was going on. And also on March 12th, that was when the schools decided to close for 1 day. Also on March the 12th, Parks and Rec canceled all their activities for that weekend. And March 12th was the day that the governor declared an emergency for the state. On the 13th is the date that the governor closed the schools. Initially, that was just for a few weeks. And as we all know, that's all changed to the rest of the school year. Also on March 13th, our 911 center here in Amelia County started doing enhanced caller screening for EMS calls, so that if enough flags were raised questioning, we could first responders know that potential for a exposure existed. That will allow them to make better use of their very limited personal protective equipment. March 16th was the date that the Commissioner of Revenue chose to close their office. Public Works began enhanced cleaning of the county buildings that same day. Parks and Recreation closed that day. The library closed that day, and that was the day that the emergency declaration was enacted for Amelia. Also on the 16th, Chief Justice of the Virginia Supreme Court issued guidance for the court systems. On the 17th is when the county was starting to put up health signage in all the buildings to ask people that were experiencing signs of this to not enter. The 18th is the date that the Treasurer's Office chose to close to the public. March 23rd was the date the social closed. And on March 25th is the date that we were able to get information out to our employees regarding how we were going to handle potentially exposed workforce members. March 27th is the date that the health department canceled their walk-in service, and they established a procedure before they allow entry now. The 27th was also the date the extension service closed, and the 27th is the date that we received the guidance issued for the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, which answered many of the questions about payroll issues related to the COVID-19 response. And then on April 1, the administrative office actually closed to the public. You all have already acted upon the declaration. This is just a little bit of background about this. As his role as Director of Emergency Management, Mr. Harris issued the declaration on March 16th. We have to confirm that declaration at either our next regularly scheduled board meeting or a special meeting within 45 days of the action, which was April the 30th. So you all have met that requirement now. If we had not done that, then the declaration would have been rescinded. What does this mean for us? The Code of Virginia states that the Director of Emergency Management is able to issue this declaration, and the declaration allows us to control, restrict, allocate, regulate the use of sale, production, and distribution of food, fuel, clothing, and other commodities, materials, goods, services, and resource systems which fall only within the boundaries of the jurisdiction and which do not impact other systems affecting adjoining political subdivisions. Enter into contracts and incur obligations necessary to combat such threatened or actual disaster, protect the health and safety of persons and property, and provide emergency assistance to the victims, and proceed without regard to time-consuming procedures and formalities prescribed by law, except mandatory constitutional requirements pertaining to the performance of public work, entering into contracts, incurring of obligations, employment of temporary workers, rental of equipment, purchase of supplies and materials, and other expenditures of public funds, provided such funds in excess of appropriations in the current approved budget, unobligated, are available. So what this really means for us is it loosens some of our restrictions on making purchases that are needed. For instance, personal protective equipment is very scarce right now. If we were able to find that from a particular vendor, we would be able to make a purchase immediately without having to go through any bids. And that's just one how that would work. Also, by enacting this declaration that will allow assistance from the federal and state government to flow in a more expedient manner, it will enable us to be able to use the Commonwealth of Virginia's statewide mutual aid system to receive assistance from other jurisdictions and potentially cost if they should become available from the federal government. Some of the things that we've been doing, we have conference calls on a regular basis with our localities to the east, the Richmond metro area. We have conference calls with our localities to the west to coordinate with those individuals. We have weekly conference calls with the Central Virginia Healthcare Coalition and the Virginia Department of Health. We have multiple calls with the Virginia Department of Emergency Management every week. And we have been sharing information with their local county agencies, helping them prepare, assisting them with getting needed resources when we were able. And we've been working with their neighbors on the plans for sharing resources, be that equipment or personnel, if any of us, any of our jurisdictions get in a bind over personnel. Looking to the future, as I mentioned before, personal protective equipment for our first responders is a problem. It's a problem for everybody right now, and not only our first responders, but other essential workers such as public works, social services, and their school system. This could become a strain on our EMS system, both by personnel and supplies. We're also concerned about sickness in our essential workers. We haven't had issues with that yet, but those are things that we are keeping an eye on. And certainly the economic impact to the local businesses and citizens is going to be a future problem for all of us. Finally, projections. It's hard to project how this is going to play out. We're already doing things that were unheard of. The Executive Order 53, or actually 55, is due through June the 10th. And if you all saw the governor's speech today, Executive Order 53, which is due to expire on April the 23rd, has now been extended to through May the 8th. The social distancing that we've been doing has worked. It's slowed the rise. We have flattened the curve. However, because we've done that, we've also extended the length of time we're going to be dealing with this. Some of the models are now projected to peak until mid to late summer. And we can all imagine how that could potentially impact us if that is the case. That's all the information I have for today. If you have any questions, contact me, or you can let me know right now. That's all I have.
Thank you, Kent. Questions from board members?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Kent.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Are we ready to continue? The next item on our agenda is the approval of minutes. We have minutes that were from the February the 13th, 2020 workshop that was held. And we had from the February 19th, 2020 regular board meeting. Those minutes were sent to you, and you should have them. We need a motion to approve those minutes.
District 1 moves to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Got a motion to approve those minutes as stated. Further discussion on the motion? If not, we'll go ahead and vote. District 1?
Yes.
District 2? District 2? I didn't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was muted. Aye.
Okay. District 3?
Aye.
And District 5 votes aye. Motion is carried. Next item on the agenda is that of the approval of financial reports. Those financial reports that information was sent to you. Approval of, and they would be the February financial reports, treasurer's accountability report, revenue reports, expense reports, account payable reports. If it's all right, we will vote these as a block. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move to approve as a block, Mr. Chairman.
Got a motion to approve as a block. Further discussion on the motion? Not all those in favor, let it be known by the user sign of aye.
District 1, aye.
I'm sorry. District 1?
District 1, aye.
District 2,
Aye.
District 3,
Aye.
and District 5 votes aye. That motion is carried. We're at the public comment period. Mr. Harvey, would you explain that procedure?
Yes, we have an email account that's set up to receive comments, public comments at ameliacova.com. Brenda Arthur is receiving those. She's monitoring that account. We also have a telephone set up, and we hope we'll do it in real time. There is a 10-second delay between WebEx and the YouTube broadcast, so if anybody wants to comment, they can dial 804-839-0039, and that's the telephone number that was advertised on the notice and on the website.
All right. Having explained that, those procedures, and how much time do you want to give?
I assume 3 minutes a speaker. If anybody calls in, we're prepared.
I guess my question is, how long had you planned on leaving the line open for?
I would assume just the standard procedure, as long as people want to call in.
All right.
Is it possible, can we kind of move forward until we get a call and pause, or is that, rather than sit here for 10 minutes waiting for calls?
That was my question. I'm going to move forward, and then as calls come in, we'll be notified accordingly. How about that?
That's fine.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, do we have any emails that have come in since this afternoon?
Not to my knowledge.
I haven't been notified of any.
Okay.
All right. Good question.
Well, I had a constituent tell me she sent one about the solar farm, so I want to make sure she sent it. Got it.
All right. All right. Well,
I'll message her and see if she has it.
all right. Good enough. In the interim period, why don't we go ahead and listen to Amelia County School Board report from Dr. Harper. Dr. Harper, are you ready?
Oh, good evening. I'd like to, yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, you're all right.
Okay, good. I'd like to start with our coronavirus action report. And County Public Schools and all Virginia schools have been closed since March 13th, 2020. For some of us, the past month has been the busiest time of our careers. Superintendents twice weekly telephone conferences with Dr. Lane, State Superintendent. And for the past month, we've received a huge amount of guidance, many of which changes from one day to the next. And I'm sure you all are experiencing similar things. At the time of the initial 2-week closure, we completed the third quarter of our school year with 134 days and 760.5 instructional hours. A normal school is 180 days and a minimum of 990 hours. Teachers prepared instructional review materials to help students keep them academically engaged. When the governor closed schools for the remainder of the school year, we quickly developed a plan to address new and review learning for students using learning modules, blended learning, and some online learning. At the present time, our teachers are available by phone or email Monday through Thursday between the hours of 9 and 3. During the week of May 11th, we do plan to collect the learning modules and the student Chromebooks that they have at home. Also, in this time of closure, we have had some cafeteria employees, bus drivers, paraprofessionals, and directors working to prepare meals for Amelia children. Initially, we were driving the meals to homes and feeding over 650 children. When Executive Order 55, the stay-at-home order, was implemented, we were to offer meals via a drive-through pickup system. Now serving approximately 218 children. And I'd like to share with you our financial report that you should have a copy in your board. One second, let's see if I can. Okay, the financial report. Someone give me a yes or a no?
Yes.
Yes, we can see it.
Thank you. So this is one of the documents that you have in your board packet. This is the financial report for March. Our March 13th enrollment was 1660 and ADM was 1650. So that should be about what it is for our school year. Revenue and expenditures are appropriate for the 9th month of the fiscal year. In fact, they're aligned but lower than what one anticipates at this time of year. The reason is that we anticipate revenues less than budgeted due to our decline in ADM. Okay. If you have questions, let me know, or I'll continue to share some other documents, including the carry funds.
All right.
Should have a copy of this as well. I've shared in the past this document, just an idea of the costs of the carryover actions and the status of those actions. Just kind of slowly scrolling through that. Our staff continues to work through the list of needs, obtaining quotes and establishing purchase orders for each item, though we have ceased proceeding with any new projects due to concerns over end-of-year revenues. So, but that is the most current carryover document. The last document I have to share with you is a resolution, and we appreciate the carryover of FY19 funds for the unmet needs. Coronavirus hit, we were making steady progress toward fulfilling many of those needs. When the virus hit, and we learned that we may see less state sales tax revenue, we put some items on hold. And we're very concerned about paying employees and managing expenses should we see a sudden drop in revenue. For this reason, we plan to continue to be very conservative, spending only essential funds for the remainder of the school year. We're seeking your approval of a resolution to carry over any unspent teen carryover funds and unspent 20 funds to FY21. So we do appreciate your consideration of that resolution. So
you're asking for board consideration of that resolution tonight?
Yes, sir.
Questions or comments from board members?
Mr. Chairman,
Hearing it.
Mr. Dwyer, I think I took time to look at that.
So you're saying we should, you're saying that you need time to look, you'd like time to look at it. That was your comment.
Yes, sir.
All right. Other questions or comments, board members? We will be having a continued meeting. We've got to have continued on a couple of other items. I'm sure that while in this meeting, it's a pleasure of the board.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes. District one.
Mr. Harper, didn't you give this to us a while back?
So you have received a copy of the resolution attached to the FY21 budget, requesting carryover of the FY21 budget carryover, but the current budget that we're operating on, Ms. Bullock and I were not the authors of that budget. And we are to be able to carry over funds at the end of this year. And the reason things are a little less stable is that we're already seeing a decrease in tax revenue. We don't know what the sales tax revenue decreases will continue to be because they're by 2 months. So even in our June sales tax revenues, we don't receive August. So again, we need to be extremely conservative, but we have a lot of unmet needs that we will be trying to meet at the present time that we're too concerned to go ahead and meet. Plus, next year's budget, if sales tax revenues continue to be an issue, we may need these carryover funds to help offset that, because the state gives us a particular amount that they anticipate being our sales tax revenue, but it's an estimate, and that covers more than $2 million of our budget. So if we can carry over money from this year to next year, that might be what we need if the sales tax continues to decline.
All right. Other comments or questions, board?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I'd just like to say that, I mean, I've looked over and been following this, even with the carryover money in the list we just saw, and I feel that the schools have been very responsible, and you can see their fiscal responsibility, even in the money requested and what they've actually spent. A lot of that actually come under bid. I think that they're doing a tremendous job, and the fact that they're putting a hold on current spending next year, I don't see any problem why they shouldn't be allowed to carry over money and ease one more burden for them.
All right, thank you, Mr. Warren.
Mr. Chairman, I would add, I mean, I would be prepared to approve this resolution tonight because I've read it already, but I guess I would ask Dr. Harper, what's the urgency that you presented it tonight rather than later?
I try to handle things as quickly as they come up. I'm not a procrastinator. And so, I'm trying to look to the future like everyone else. And I think that it speaks to our fiscal integrity that we come to you now and say, we would like to do this and not get into a situation that many school divisions have done in the past where they just try to spend money at the end of the year to spend money. I think it would be much more responsible for us to say, we're being very conservative. Please understand that might mean, if we're lucky, that there's a large carryover, but there are needs we're not meeting. I'd rather come at the end of the year with a carryover when we're in a crisis like we are as a state and as a country, than to come at the end of the year and say, oh, we've overspent. Well, that's just not responsible. And we that next year funds are going to be extremely tight, and sales tax revenue, such an unknown at this point, and it is quite a bit of our budget. So just trying to be fiscally responsible.
All right. Other questions? Now, we will be considering, I know that we will be considering and we'll have to pass your 21 budget coming up, right?
Yes, and we just learned today, about 4:30 this afternoon, that the state has just cut another $354,292 budget for next year. So we will certainly be sending a revised document to the county. Again, that's only a couple hours ago that we learned that.
I'm hearing you. You answered my question. Other question or comment from board members? What's the pleasure of the board?
So, Mr. Chairman, are we gonna wait to approve this resolution, or are we gonna do it tonight?
If that's what the board wants to do, we can do either or.
Well, I move that we approve the resolution tonight.
All right. Got a motion to approve the resolution tonight. Further discussion on that motion? If not all those in favor, let it be known by voting. District 1,
No.
District 2,
Aye.
District 3,
Aye.
District 5 votes aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's carried. All right. Dr. Hunt, do you have anything else you want to say to us?
No, sir. We continue to appreciate the immense amount of support that we receive from the county. Please know that we're working very difficult challenges at this time, and we're working very hard to meet the needs and support. Thank you again.
All right.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Dr. Harper, can you speak to what the date is that you think we're going to actually have firm numbers from you, what you need from us for this year, next year?
I will be working on that this evening, and hopefully I can give it to Ms. Cave tomorrow. I believe we have a 10 a.m. meeting, and give her the revised budget at that time.
You can do that before you get the calc tool.
We will not out until after the General Assembly votes, and that'll be around April 24th. And this has given us the preliminary numbers this afternoon, and I think that's the best that we can do going forward. I don't want to hold up the county in terms of your budgeting process, because I know that deadline is very shortly after April 24th. So we have been advised to use the numbers that were sent to us this afternoon. We do have a state superintendent conference call at 8:30 tomorrow morning, and this is one of the pieces of conversation at that phone conference.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Other questions or comments for Dr. Harper? Dr. Harper, thank you very much for coming tonight and this afternoon and providing that updates and that information for us.
Thank you.
All right, the next item on our agenda is that of a presentation, discussion of the county FY 2021 budget. That will be presented by Carla Cave, Finance Manager of Finance.
Hi, can everyone hear me good?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I hope that you all got a chance to watch my budget presentation I would normally give in the March meeting. I'm gonna pull it up here and kind of hit a few of the key points just as a reminder of what we have up to this point. But obviously it's gonna drastically change, so I'm not gonna go and give it again. But I'm gonna go ahead and share that right now and just hit a few, reminders to show where we are at the moment, and then what we expect to happen with the coronavirus. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Can everybody see that? We're good?
We're good.
So we put this together and had the workshop about 1 week before everything drastically changed, and we realized this is no good. But just to highlight what is included, where we are now is we have that 3-cent real estate tax increase included, and we have the 5-cent personal property tax decrease included. And the other things I think will go away, but I did implement into this everything that we had discussed at the prior board meeting. One thing I wanted to touch on is our general fund. We're looking at, with the budget we have now, an increase of almost $950,000 for a total budget of $37,126,824. And we have ourselves pulling out of reserves $1,966,108. So that's before all the coronavirus implications. So that's just an idea of where we are at the present moment. And as Dr. Harper said, we are getting new news on coronavirus every single day. Honestly, I'll be really frank with y'all. I was originally thinking Amelia County, we don't have meals tax, we don't have lodging tax, we don't have too many big businesses that are, you know, going under right now. I mean, we have some small businesses, but we don't have huge stores that are out of business at the moment. I didn't think we would be that financially impacted, but it looks like most localities about our size are expecting about 10% decreases in a lot of, you know, our real estate taxes, personal property taxes, our BPOL licenses. So I'm going to pull up one other document, two other documents actually, but here is some current information of what we're doing on the county side. I know the schools are checking in with DOE. I think Dr. Harper said at least once a week, possibly twice a week. I'm doing the same on my end. There is a woman named Stephanie Davis. She's now working with Virginia Tech Leadership Development. She puts on a weekly seminar, and today there was about 1,100 people tuning in, mostly finance directors, but you know, other personnel that deal with the budget. And it's very good information. She's got people from, I'm going to say a lot of acronyms here, but I've listed them out, but GFOA, NACO, VACO, VML, Davenport, you know, everybody's weighing in on what they're hearing from the state and how it's going to trickle down into the various localities. But one thing that they drove home today is that they're expecting this to be the worst economic downturn since the Great Depression. And I hadn't heard it put in those terms until today. So it kind of hit me today about really that we do need to make some drastic changes to our budget, even here in Amelia. They're expecting the upcoming quarter to be a 26% drop in GDP, and that's nationwide, not here in Virginia. But if you compare it to the Great Depression, their worst quarter was 8%. So, you know, it's pretty bleak. It's a bleak outlook. The state is also looking at the date of April 24th, same as the schools is waiting for. So we should know a little bit more then. One thing that's out there to help the county is, well, it really won't help the county at the state it's in now, but the federal government has put together the CARES Act, which is a $150 billion coronavirus relief fund. And VML is trying to help us figure out how small localities can get some of that, because currently only localities that have $500,000, 500,000 residents or more will see any relief from that, and that's only Fairfax County. So hopefully that will help us out coming soon, you know, with the help of VML.
All right.
And one thing that they also pushed today is that they expect to see a lot of governments balancing their budgets with reserves. And we've talked a lot about reserves in the past, how we have a really high level of reserves right now. But they just emphasize, because we don't know the length that this pandemic is going to happen, you know, hopefully this doesn't go on too much longer for everybody's sake. But it's just a very, you know, they really push cash is king, keep your reserve money, keep those healthy levels of reserves. Don't plan on balancing your budget with reserves. So, are you all with me still?
We're with you.
You can hear me, okay.
Oh, yeah. You're doing all right.
Cool, and I'm gonna pull up one more slide that I've put together here. And you know, when I was saying what are the impacts gonna be in Amelia, the schools will be able to give us a better figure soon, but, you know, I know when I originally had talked to the schools, they were talking a $550,000 loss plus whatever the state sales tax is gonna be, and hopefully those figures might get better, but, as far as the local dollars, I'm just throwing out the number of 10%, in real estate tax, personal tax, local sales tax, B poll fees. And I'm not sure honestly if 10% is the right amount, nobody knows, but, that's the best guess that most localities our size are going with. And if we just look at those figures, we're looking at a $1.5 million loss in revenue. And that's, keep in mind, we were already pulling 2 million from reserve. So basically, the bottom line is we're probably gonna have to make some hard decisions. And that's what everybody's doing across the state. And a few ideas that people have been talking about. Now, Amelia County hasn't implemented anything yet for FY20. But, and some people have, you know, some people have gone ahead and been very proactive and started now. But for FY21, a lot of localities are doing away with raises. They are implementing a hiring freeze. They are only allowing, essential travel. They are cutting their community contributions. Those would be, to the various agencies that we contribute to, whether it's a full cut or just decreasing the amount. They're talking about suspending CIP projects or having their departments cut their budgets, possibly back to FY19 levels, whether that's through personnel or non-personnel items. But basically, these are my best guesses at the moment, number-wise, and how we get there to balance this budget. I'm happy to hear the numbers. That's what I'm here for. I just want to know some feedback and direction from the board as far as, you know, what direction y'all might want to take to help balance this budget. And that's all I've got.
Thank you, Carla. You've given us a lot to chew on here.
Yeah.
Questions and comments from board members? Any questions or comments from board members?
Yeah, I guess my question is, where do we go from here? Are we gonna work on this tonight, or are we gonna set up a special work session?
I would think that we set up some special work sessions. Carla, did you have a schedule or something in mind, or is that to come?
My schedule's free. This is all I'm working on right now. So I work around you.
Mr. Harvey,
We actually were thinking we might have 2 work sessions through this WebEx platform next week. One early in the week, one latter part of the week, get everybody a chance to get their thoughts together.
I think that'd be a good idea. Feedback from board members, what do you think? You're looking at maybe 1, maybe 2 next week?
Yes, sir.
Like Wednesday or Thursday or Tuesday or Wednesday, somewhere in that neighborhood?
Staff is wide open. Staff can do it whenever the board likes.
Okay. I'm on board, members. What's your pleasure?
Frank, you and I have PSR on Tuesday night, and I have steps on Thursday night. So I'm open Monday and Wednesday.
I'm open Wednesday and Thursday.
I'm pretty flexible all around. Everything in my life's been canceled, so apparently the new thing.
So Wednesday, how about Wednesday is what it sounds like.
Well, for the staff, it doesn't have to be at nighttime. If everybody's schedules are changed enough that they can spare an hour at home and they don't have to drive off somewhere and get prepared, we'll do whatever everybody wants to do.
All right.
I'm flexible with that.
Yeah, I'm flexible during the day too, pretty much. I have a couple things, but.
So am I. I'm flexible. So why don't you want to go ahead and set it up for Wednesday?
Sure.
It works. What time?
10 o'clock?
10 o'clock?
Okay?
All right, that's good. 10 o'clock it is.
Okay?
Carolyn, will you send out an invite or a memo about it? Email?
We certainly will.
Thank you.
Thank you. Carla, thanks for the report. That was a lot to chew
Thank
on.
you. Sorry to be
Yeah,
the
thank
bearer
you.
of news. See ya.
Bye-bye.
All right, next item.
Mr. Chairman, it looks like we've got Holocene up next in the docket.
Yes,
Brenda has sent to me 3 emails. All of them are related to solar. And if you'd like to go ahead and I can read those for you and get them before you discuss the issue, if you'd like.
all right.
Is one from Dale Anderson, Taylor?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks. That's the one that talked to me.
Okay, if it meets the board's pleasure, I'll go ahead and read them.
That'd be fine.
All right, because we're talking about the special exception permit for solar 2 first. I'll read one it's actually a report of solar 2. It says, hello, my name is David Plunkett, and I represent the applicant, HCE Amelia Solar 2, and its owner, Holocene Clean Energy. As the board is aware from the February joint public hearing on this project, Holocene Clean Energy is requesting a special exception permit for a 5-megawatt project on the south side of Giles Road, approximately 2 miles west of the intersection with Royalton Road. This proposed site serves as a location for the remaining 5 megawatts of solar capacity originally planned at Amelia Solar 1. The project will sit on 36 acres, deep within the parcel owned by Frank Anderson. The fence line of the project will be 4/10 of a mile from the closest residence to the east and 6/10 of a mile from Giles Road. The interconnection location is similarly remote, 9/10 of a mile south of the project, and will be accessed via an underground utility easement. The site will be maintained per the submitted land management plan, with special attention paid to maintaining the visual buffer around the site. County decommissioning requirements have been met for this project. The decommissioning plan can be found in the board's packets. Financial surety will be provided to cover the decommissioning costs. In addition, Holocene has agreed to make a one-time voluntary payment to the county in recognition of the now abated tax status of the project. We appreciate the board's consideration in this matter. Thank you. Davis Plunkett, Development Project Manager. Okay. All right, well, we've got a technology issue. Apparently, Mr. Harris's computer has died. So, I can't ask Mr. Chairman to give me a minute, but I'm gonna step back and see what's going on with his. If the board will give me a minute, I'll walk in and see what's going on.
Email's right, I need your desk.
Back going.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Go ahead. Yeah, I think there was no current in that. That's right. There was no current in the outlet. There you go.
Okay. I'll get my.
All right. I'm gonna shut this door so we don't have any interference. Okay. Okay, can the board hear me?
Yes.
Okay, there was no power in the out. Mr. Harris is back.
All right.
Well, Mr. Chairman, that letter that I read from Davis was the only one related to the solar farm. The other two letters are related to the fee schedule change. So if you'd like, I can wait to just prior to the fee schedule change discussion and read those two.
That'll be fine.
Okay?
So we're dealing with the special exception permit for the Holocene Solar Energy, Amelia Solar 2. That's the one we're dealing with at the moment, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Questions or comments from board members?
Are we hearing anything from Holocene tonight, or are we just looking at what's in the packet?
They were invited to the meeting. They got an invite.
Davis is keyed in on this thing.
Yeah, I am here. This is Davis Plunkett. I sent the comments in case technology didn't work in our favor, but I am available to answer any questions that the board has. Definitely appreciate everyone taking a moment tonight amongst everything else that's going on to talk about the project. But I'll keep it brief. Really, those comments kind of sum up the project. So if there's anything from the board, I'd be glad to answer questions.
Questions or comments from board members?
No, the packet was very complete. It's, don't really have any questions after looking it over.
What's the pleasure of the board?
I make a motion we approve as recommended by the planning commission.
All right. Further discussion on the motion? If not, we'll vote. District 1?
Aye.
District 2?
Aye.
District 3?
Aye.
District 5 votes aye. That motion carries. All right? The next item,
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, the next item would be the permit fee rate schedule, and I have two comments sent in on that. Mr. Plunkett had one of them, and since he's on, I don't know if we want to let him speak to that. I can read it, and then the other one is Ms. Anderson, so unless you'd like, otherwise I'll just go ahead and read them both.
all right.
Go for it.
Okay, hello, my name is Davis Plunkett. I represent Holocene Clean Energy, solar developer active in Amelia County and neighboring localities. I am writing in support of the proposed action included in the board's agenda that the county adopt a new building permit fee schedule specific to solar farms. As outlined in the building department summary, the current permit fee for commercial properties is inappropriate for use on utility scale solar projects. Solar projects occupy a large amount of square footage when compared to commercial properties of similar cost, but require fewer reviews and inspections on the part of the county. The current commercial rate of 75 cents per square foot puts an undue financial burden on solar projects that is disproportionate with the county's scope of work. We are grateful to Richard Jones and the Building Permit Office for their considering and are supportive of the proposed fee schedule of 7 cents per square foot. While still higher than many jurisdictions that have adopted solar-specific fee schedules, it does represent a viable solution for our proposed solar projects. We appreciate the board considering this matter. Thank you, Davis Plunkett, Development Project Manager. The second comment is from Dale Anderson. And her comments are, there is an objection to the lowering of the building permit fees for the solar projects presented by Holocene. With the understanding that other counties have lowered their rates for such projects, why should these companies get special treatment? Why has this county been over backwards on anything that this company wants, such as allowing solar in a rural preservation area? If a business wants to come to this county, it should follow the precedent that has been set. I could see if there was a great benefit that it would bring, but what benefit does this type of project bring? There are no jobs that are being created on a permanent basis. There is no benefit to the residents, such as lower bills, yet they now want this county to lower the fees so they do not have to spend any more money than necessary. That has been the theme all along. They want this area for their projects, but they want to pay as little for it as possible. If they want to come into this county, not provide anything substantial, but reap the benefit, what does that say? Any other business that would come to this county would be required to pay the 75 per square foot, but solar does not. They are not any different. They are producing a product that is sold, just like Superior Walls. If another type of business wants to come into Amelia that produces a product, such as the concrete company that was looking at Amelia, would they have the fees reduced? Is the county now going to reduce or increase the price per square foot on a business-by-business basis? There should be a standard, such as 75 cents per square foot, and it should be kept no matter what the business is. Not to mention that with COVID-19 being so prominent, will they be allowed to start construction if granted the building permits at the lower cost? Where would the workers be coming from? Would they be bringing in people that could possibly spread the infection as they patronize the businesses that are in the county? We are in a state of emergency due to this virus. The Board of Supervisors sees fit to vote on lowering building permit fees for solar projects when the county could possibly use the money if revenues are diminished. Residents can voice their concern. No one listens. Decisions are made by this Board of Supervisors that directly impact those that live in this county, and still no one listens to the ones that it impacts the most. Hugh and Dale Anderson. And that's it.
All right. Questions or comments from board members?
I'd like to make the comment on Anderson's email that just because we don't agree with what somebody says doesn't mean we don't listen. I, for one, have listened to everybody involved in this original solar field. Just because we don't do what they want does not mean we don't listen. Speaking for myself.
Agreed.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. I was going to voice that myself. Anyway, okay. And we definitely listen to these comments mean something to us. Those members' opinions and so forth definitely are definitely taken into consideration. Other comments? From what I'm understanding, Mr. Harvey, this staff has made a recommendation, correct?
Yes, sir. Richard Jones is a participant tonight. He's our building official, and I think he's prepared to address the issue.
And you can let him come on and make his comments at this point.
Yes, sir. That's correct. Mr. Jones?
Jones? Mr. Jones, are you with us?
doesn't appear that he's on this thing anymore. He was here earlier. I have his paperwork in front of me, as you do. Rich put a lot of time and effort into this thing, on the phone to our surrounding counties, using good judgment, what's going to be required for the inspections and all that. If we go with the 75 cents a square foot, this is a $250,000 building permit fee, which is, that's a heck of a number because there's a lot of square footage out there. He is recommending one of the middle prices of the surrounding counties at 7 cents a square foot. And it comes in with a realistic total of around $24,500 for this, for these particular projects. I think that's realistic. In the talks I've had with my compatriots in surrounding counties, it's realistic.
All right, thank you, David. Further questions from board members?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I appreciate the work that Mr. Jones has done on this, but I would like to recommend that we increase it a bit to 9 cents a square foot.
All right.
It's still competitive, and I think in light of everything else that's going on, we could use the revenue.
All right.
That would put us in the neighborhood of $31,000, somewhere around in there at 9.
That's right.
Thank you. I was thinking somewhere around 30, 31, somewhere in that neighborhood. All right. Comments from other board members? I would have a tendency to agree with that. All right. What's the pleasure? How's that?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept Mr. Jones's report, but he changed the number to 7 cents per square foot. Vote on it.
31,500.
Yes, 9 cents a square foot.
9 cents a square foot. Further discussion on that motion? If not, let's vote on it. District 1? District 2?
Aye.
District 3?
Aye.
And District 5 vote aye. Motion is carried. All right. We had an item, the Davis well, that was added, an amended item for the agenda. Mr. Harvey, you want to bring us up to date there?
Yes, sir. This is something that's been on the docket for too long. There was a motion passed in the 27th. The wording was, I move that the county attorney prepare the necessary documents for the county administrator to get signed by all parties to complete the acquisition of real property is discussed inside the closed session. Well, we've got every document back except for one. What I don't have is authorization to go ahead and execute these things and complete the deal. And that's what we're looking for. We need authorization to go ahead and move on them once they're all in place.
All right. Additional comments or questions from board members regarding this?
Mr. Chairman, I for one would like to see the documents. I want to make sure that they're in line with what we discussed in closed session. And which document is missing?
The title examination.
I'm not so concerned about that as much as the contract.
Well, how about I suggest this? We're going to continue this meeting next Wednesday. Why don't we circulate the documents, make sure they suit everybody, and we'll have that on the docket to wrap up on Wednesday. Would that work?
Perfect.
That sounds good. That sounds good.
Okay.
All right. But that takes us through the agenda. Board comments? District 1,
None?
District 2,
No comments.
District 3.
Just real quick, I'd just like to thank our citizens during this time. Just let them know that everything, including this meeting, and everything we're doing is brand new. It's uncharted territory. And I myself haven't had any complaints, and I really appreciate everybody's patience. I think Kent has done a fantastic job. I know he's overwhelmed with emergency services, as well as other local staff, our essential workers, our nurses, doctors, people like that. Everybody's doing what they need to be doing, and I'm really appreciative that our community's coming together and holding together as well as they are.
Thank you, Mr. Wyatt. Those were my comments. I'm going to have to ditto what you just said. And I was going to say everybody that I've come in contact with and that in the county that I know, from the letter carrier to the garbage collector, to you name it, people are concerned and they're looking after each other. And the city, and yeah, it's rough at this point, but as the good book says, this shall pass. Thank you all for your coming, and I'll need a motion to continue this meeting. Is that right, Mr. Howard?
Yes, sir.
You'll need to close the public comment period too.
Oh, yes, I need to close the public comment period. Okay, yeah, you're right. Okay, that takes care of that?
Yes, sir.
All right, and this is going to be, I need a motion to continue to this meeting to Wednesday. What date is that?
That would be about the 22nd.
Wednesday, the 22nd at 10 o'clock.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Got a motion, further discussion on the motion. Not all those in favor, let it be known by the usual sign of aye. I mean, District 1, District 2, aye. District 3,
Aye.
and District 4 votes aye. All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Hey, Sean, you there? Sean Stern? Yeah, I'm sorry, just checking with Sean Stern. Hey, look like you pulled it off. Good job.
You did good.
Thank you, Sean. Worked right.
Thank you, Sean.
Yeah. Sean, we'll get together at your convenience sometime between now and Wednesday and make sure we're good to go. Is that reasonable? Okay. All right. Well, good.